Hey, how's it going? Apparently this video didn't record last time, or just the audio just like completely died for some reason. But I'm gonna talk about this again. This time I'm gonna talk about solar installations, the standard procedures, like especially like if you're a homeowner, like what you can expect as a homeowner when you're getting solar panels. Now, this is specifically made for like people living in like Texas and New Mexico, the markets in Texas and New Mexico where you just bought a loan. I don't know about leases or like batteries. I've never sold those, so I wouldn't really know. So I'm just going to talk about specifically getting a loaned solar panel system connected to net metering. So yeah, just beware. Yep. So essentially, the contents that we're going to talk about in this video are specifically site survey, the permits, installation, time frames, utility company approvals, PTO, panels get, and then what happens when the panels get turned on. So yeah, so the site survey. What's gonna happen in the site survey? So this can essentially be the site survey can essentially be done by the salesperson or the installer representative. So they might check one or more multiple of the following. So one of the things that they made me do, one example, when it works to like comes to like checking site surveys for me as a salesperson, it was to check the breaker box, and that it was so that the breaker box had enough spaces for the breakers to fit, so that the solar panels could have the breakers right there. If they, let's say for example, in this on this side, like where my freaking face is at, you see this breaker box. So if all these little spaces right here that you see are completely filled out, that means that the breaker box will have to be updated, and that will cost a little bit of money. That is not going to be an extra cost to your loan. It's just like an extra cost that would have to be filled out. And this could be mainly like a sub panel or just like a main panel upgrade, which if you have like your breaker box completely filled out, this can actually help you out. Like getting a main panel upgrade could be beneficial if like you get, let's say you have like two AC units for some reason, and then you use electricity on all your house, and then like your house loses electricity every once in a while because of all the your breaker box cannot take all the electricity, then getting a main panel upgrade would be like a pretty good solution. The next thing that they actually made us do is basically take the measurements of the beams. So, for example, in my case, I would say, "Hey, Mr. Homeowner, where's your attic?" And it would like, "Oh, it's over here." So then we would just go check the attic, and I would check the beams. But that was, I would recommend, like, if you're a sales rep and you don't know what you're doing, to not do that at all. Like, know what the heck you're doing. In my case, I did it once, but I was like, you know what? I'd just rather let the inspector do their job. So the inspector, what they're going to do is that they're going to take a look at the beams, for example, like this. They're going to make sure that the solar panels fit inside the beam, like are installed inside, like within the beams, and not like within the roof. Because if they do, what's going to happen is that instead of like being flat, the roof is going to go like this. It's going to be pendant, and it's going to have leaks and like all sorts of problems. The inspector, what they're gonna do next is like take pictures of the four corners of the house. So they're gonna take, like, for example, in this picture, they're gonna take a picture right here outside, this corner, on the other side of the house, in the back, and then on this side. And they're gonna take measurements, and then they're gonna either go get a drone, or they're gonna take the roof conditions. So they're gonna basically get on top of it, basically, and they're just gonna take a bunch of pictures and like check where the beams are within the roofs, so that they can actually tell where these solar panels are gonna be placed. Excuse me for 1 second. So yeah, after that, essentially what's gonna happen is that I don't know why I put square footage. We don't really check any of that stuff. I guess all the square footage would be for a ground mount. If you don't know what a ground mount is, it's basically like solar panels that are like on the floor. So that's why they would have to take a look at how many feet apart are the solar panel systems from the meter, and all that good stuff. And they're going to look for other ways to improve the home. So in my case, I could sell spray foam, and in this case, the house that I was going to sell to, they didn't have their insulated walls. So I told them, like, if you want, we could add spray foam, and we could reduce the amount of panels that you have, so that the electric bill, the solar bill, is not as high as it could be, because it lowers like 15% of your consumption. They're like, oh shit, yeah, we could do that. And that's why you can play around with the numbers and see what can actually help you out. And then the next step would be the utility company approval. What's going to happen is that there's going to be a net metering application. The net metering application, what's going to happen is the utility company, they're going to send you they're going to send you an email containing all the information for the interconnection agreements, which is net metering. If you sign it and if you agree to it, you basically sign an agreement so that every single time that your solar panel system produces excess electricity if your solar panel system produces more than what you consume, the electric company will buy that from you at certain rates. But again, the electric company doesn't really lose, so they will buy it cheaper from you, and they would sell it at a higher price to everybody else. So yeah, that's what happens. If you don't sign it, what's going to happen is that the project is not going to move through, and your panels are not going to be turned on. So it's really important that you actually know that you have to get that system, like that document signed, whether it is like net metering or the other two programs that I completely forgot how they worked. The only thing is that I forgot. I'm sorry about that. But if you don't sign it, like I said, everything stops and your system is not going to be turned on, and you're going to have a situation where you have two electric bills, which is not good. So make sure you actually take a look at your email, which is going to be the same as when you sign your loan documents. Now, after that, the city or county will have to approve the installation. Like I said, even after you sign the agreements, the city or county will still have to approve the projects. It's happened before where the system gets rejected just because the transformers don't support more space for a new system. I saw the system once where the project basically had to be halted for a little bit because apparently the transformers couldn't fit the amount of kilowatts that were like in the area, because I guess it was like the main panel was at 25 kilowatts, and then like all the solar system that we put in added at like a 27 kilowatts, so they had to make like a main panel upgrade. So that's why like the city and county had to like approve this, which is why it took a little bit longer. And like I said, before solar systems, you don't really, not every solar system is the same. There's different procedures that have to be taken into consideration. So just knowing that there's going to be certain things that are required for the projects to be completed, understanding that those things are going to happen is really important when you get a solar system. So if you have like one of those issues that your solar panel system is like hasn't been installed, it's taking too long, just ask your rep. Really, just ask your rep, or just call support. Tell them, hey, what's going on with my project? The installer mainly, and they're gonna tell you like exactly what's going wrong, or if they're just waiting for something, or if they could contact the rep to make things move faster, even better. But just have clear communication with the sales rep and support, because if you don't, you're just gonna get mad at nobody for like maybe at the sales rep for no reason. But just ask what's happening, and most of the time people are going to help you. The next phase is the installation. I hate this format. I don't know why I put it this way. You will more than likely be notified for the installation date. You will be notified before the installation is going to happen. They're going to ask you, if like you're going to be home. So installations can take like 6 to 8 hours depending on the system size. It would also depend on whether it is a ground mount. Notes, this is for systems connected to net metering. Yeah, so this is specifically if your system is connected with net metering, still connected to the grid. 6 to 8 hours depending. Yes, I've sold smaller systems But like bigger systems, like maybe 14 kilowatt systems, they take about maybe 6 to 8 hours. Smaller systems, maybe about 4 hours. Bigger systems like 20 kilowatts, I would imagine that takes like 2 days at least. Or like I've seen like sometimes the projects had to be halted, so that would take a little bit longer. But yeah. Actually, here in these two pictures, these are two pictures of solar systems that I sold with one of my closers. For example, notice how the system has a missing meter. That is because the city or county, as well as the utility company, have to approve and make inspections to make sure that the system was installed correctly. So as you can see, the system is installed, but the meter is not placed in. So the electric meter is still there. Like it's not here, it's not a freaking pole. But here it's not going to be placed because the utility company has to approve the project in order for them to put the new meter. So there's like steps and processes for this. Remember, we're connecting a brand new solar system to like 200-year-old grid system, the electric grid. Also, if you don't know what the electric grid is, look up the I guess the 4 different types of grids in America. You're gonna understand what the grid is and how all of that stuff is. And then they have standardized procedures. So once the glass is on the roof, what's gonna happen is that once you get your solar panel system installed in the roof, in the loan documents, it is going to say with the banks that you're going to start paying 60 to 90 days after installation. It doesn't matter if they're turned on. That is not the concern of the bank. Like once the system is on your roof, you own it. So you're gonna have to start paying for it 60 days to 90 days after. So here's where you're gonna have to have clear communication with the sales rep and support to understand like what's going on and like what's missing, so that you can actually be on par with them and make sure that the project goes smooth and you don't end up paying 2 electric bills. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Have good communication with both of them, because those are your points of contact. Permission to operate. So here, what's going to happen is that once the city approves and has the inspection for the equipments, the installation company has the approval to turn on the system. So after PTO, the installation company has the approval to turn on the system. So you can essentially start seeing like your panels being turned on and maybe having the app on your phone checking how much energy they're producing. And yeah, basically it's just a permission to make them turn on. Afterwards, the utility company will install the second meter, and this will signal that the project is ready to be turned on. So once the utility company installs a new meter, the panels will be able to be turned on. So that is really good. So then once the installation company sends an electrician or representative to turn on the system, it is important to connect the system to your phone to monitor your production and make sure everything works fine. Yeah. So first, it's PTO by the electric company. Then they're gonna put the meter, and then the installation company is gonna send somebody over to turn on the system. And it is important that once the people that turn on the system are there, they help you connect your phone to the system. That way you know that it is working, and that if it is not, you can contact support or the sales rep. But yeah, that's about it. So just be mindful of that part. Then the panels get turned on. Yeah. A lot of people have this misconception for some reason. You're not gonna see huge savings in just a couple of months. Like that's not how that works. Like the idea of this is like you're gonna freeze your payments at what you have it right now, and as the inflation rates keep increasing every single year, you're still gonna be frozen at that rate. Because remember, when you have a solar panel system, the interest rates don't apply to you. What does apply to you is the interest on the loan. That depending on like however you want to take the loan, whether it is 25 years at 3%, whether it is at 25 years at 5%, depending on what you chose. Right now it's ridiculous. Like the interest rates for loans are like 6 to 7%, and we can't really do anything about that. Like if you're a sales rep and you want to sell lower, you're gonna have a hard time, because like interest rates right now are like super high. So The best time to buy solar was like maybe like 5 months ago. I mean, not my bad, 5 months ago, like years ago, when they first started. So yeah, remember the solar is a long-term solution to a long-term problem. Like it is a problem for like the inflation rates, and yeah, like as long as like you can help yourself to be prepared for a long-term solution, then you're good. It is a solution that pays by itself as long as you consume the same amount of power or lower power than the panels produce. Then you should be covered for the remainder of the time you have this system. Yeah, basically, you just keep paying your electric bill as you would, and as long as you consume the same amount or the lower amount that the panels produce, then you're gonna be good. You're gonna be covered, and after 25 years, you will eventually not pay any electricity. Better option than the utility company, which is like increasing your rates every single year. And as long as your system is working, you will be protected against the inflation rates, assuming that you have a system that covers 100% or a little bit above that, so that you don't have two electric bills. If you have more than 100%, even better, because you're not going to pay two bills. But yeah, and yeah, that's about it. It was a shorter video than the original one, mainly because right now I'm just tired. Honestly, who would have thought that making content would have been like so much shorter? And yeah, if you have any questions as to what you can expect with your solar system, depending on like if it's net metering or anything else, you can go ahead and put a question. I was gonna say on the chat, on the description. No, wait, on the comments. Yeah, on the comments. If you're a sales rep just trying to get into the solar industry, it is important that you understand all the process from like setting the appointments all the way to like closing. You have to understand everything. You have to understand how everything works so that you know how to handle situations. That's the way I did it. I learned. One of my buddies told me like just remember the whole process, and I did. And yeah, this is what you can expect with solar panel systems. And yeah, that's about it. If you want to learn a little bit more, you can actually send me a DM, either Facebook or Instagram or just YouTube. But yeah, see you later. Peace.